In aviation SMS programs, oversight agencies are going to ask you, how do you fulfill the safety risk management requirement? You need to have an easy way of explaining and demonstrating how you meet this requirement. Fortunately, SMS Pro is designed around the 4 pillars of SMS, which this diagram refers to. This diagram shows how safety risk management and safety assurance work together to ensure that risks are being mitigated. In this video, we'll walk through how SMS Pro meets the SRM requirement. The Proactive Hazard Analysis Tool, or FAT, is the hub of many safety risk management activities in SMS Pro and is where you will develop your operational risk management profile. In this module, you can describe the system and choose either the 5M or shell model that you will use to identify scope, mission goals, your plan for addressing these goals, and all affected stakeholders. You can modify and update your system description to adapt to the changing needs of your operations. Next, the hazard identification component of safety risk management is completed in several ways that all work together seamlessly. It works like this. Employees identify hazards in the environment and report them. On a micro level, management receives these reports and goes through the issue management process, which includes classifying the issue with relevant hazards. This is one way hazards are identified on an issue-by-issue basis. Also in the Issue Manager, management can identify lessons learned. A compilation of all lessons learned appears in the Lessons Learned Library module. On a macro level, a complete list of hazards that have been identified in safety issues and analyzed in the FAT module will appear in the Hazard Risk Register. After hazards have been identified, they are analyzed primarily in the FAT module. The FAT allows you to determine specific risks associated with hazards, identify control measures used to address the risk, and assign initial and residual risk assessments for each risk. Once risks have been assessed, they will appear in the Hazard Risk Register, where you can see the initial risk assessment for each hazard and the latest residual risk assessment. Hazard analysis and assessment is also conducted on each submitted safety issue. Each issue is given an initial and closing risk assessment, has options for root cause analysis, and will need to be thoroughly assessed before creating corrective actions. Once hazards have been analyzed and assessed, they will need to be controlled. Hazards are overseen by subject matter experts and are identified in each hazard category. Monitoring a hazard is straightforward. A specific objective for generic hazards or KPIs can be set in the Goals and Objectives module and monitored in the Hazard Risk Register to see how many times that hazard has been classified in various time periods. In the FAT, these managers have a couple of options for treating hazards and risks. First, risk scenarios can be submitted as safety issues to be managed if the risk is not adequately controlled. If a specific risk control is not adequate, it too can be submitted as a safety issue. Risk controls can be flagged for audit. And if no control exists where one is needed, it can quickly be created and then submitted as a safety issue as well. Submitting risk controls as safety issues allows safety management to perform the actions needed to get the required change to an acceptable level of safety. We will discuss this more in the next video on how SMS Pro meets the safety assurance requirement. But as you can see, SMS Pro's risk management processes are built closely around compliant safety management requirements. We highly suggest that you move on to the next video to see how SMS Pro satisfies safety assurance requirements and how safety assurance ties in with the SRM process. Thank you for watching.